Come on in, come on in. Yes, come on in, come on in. Invite your family and your friends. Invite them. Tell them, hey, E-Top is on. Bishop is about to share with you a powerful word, encouraging word from God. So go ahead and invite your family and friends. Tell them, hey, E-Top is on, 10:30 a.m. Bishop is about to provide you with a powerful sermon. Let's go ahead and get into that. Those of you that have your Bibles on you, go with me to 2 Kings chapter 7. 2 Kings chapter 7, verses 3 and 4. And in your quiet times, in your quiet moments, or even after this message, go ahead and read the entire chapter of 2 Kings 7 to gain a little more understanding of what this message is about today. 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3 and 4. Here's what is recorded. King James, you know it's BSV version. There were 4 men who had a skin disease, leprosy. They were at the entrance of the gate of Samaria. And they said to one another, why in the world should we stay here until we die? We need to do something. Like go into the city. No, there's no food there. And we'll die. However, if we just stay here, we'll die anyway. So let's go over to Aram's army's camp. Let's give ourselves up. And you know what? If they spare us, we live. But if they kill us, then we'll die. Using for a subject from which to preach, y'all see it? Look at your neighbor and tell them, don't just sit there. Do something. Don't just sit there. Do something. This story of lepers at the city gates, this is not just a historical account of what happened, right? But it basically is like a metaphor that reminds us today, because we go through the same thing, right? They were suffering from a debilitating disease, leprosy, right? I.e. cancerous type. And they found themselves at the crossroads of life. Do we just sit here and do nothing? Or do we get up and do something? And then each one of those had an answer or response to it. If we sit here, we just going to sit here and die. But if we go over to the army's camp, we probably die too. But notice the difference. We sit here, we know we're going to die. If we go over there, not a possibility, but it's still a possibility that we die. But here's the overall concept of this message. We as Christians should always understand that it is better to do something than to sit there and do nothing, right? Because our faith walk and our Christian walk is about action. It's about doing something. And all too often we get into those days and those nights and those times and those seasons where we just say, man, I ain't doing nothing. Oh, yeah? That's what you want to do? That's what we doing now? Because some of us are right now in that crossroads. Or you just departed or about to go into that crossroads of life, right? Where you say, you know what, God, I think I'm just going to sit right here and do nothing, Bishop. Because here's what y'all like to say. God say, be still and know that I'm God. Yeah, he does do that on occasion, right? Yeah, it's a small percentage of the time when he say, yeah, you just be still and know that I'm God. I've already taken action. You don't have to do nothing. But a lot of time before he gets to that point, he wants you to do your part. See, everybody know God does his. But God wants you to do your part, Christian. God wants you to do your part, follower of Christ. God wants you to do your part, dog, depender of God, right? You do your part first. We know God's going to do his. Don't try to use an excuse that God say, be still and know that I'm God, to not do anything because you are scared or you are fearful of doing something. No, these men right here find themselves at the crossroads of life, and they're either gonna starve by sitting, or they may die by moving. But they say, "Wait, we're gonna do something." And there are times when God says, "Be still," but then most of the time He say, "Y'all need to move." Why? Because when you move, He moves. You right, just like that. Yeah. Our faith walk is about action. It's about moving. It's about doing something. It's not about I'm just going to fold my arms and be still. I'm just going to fold my arms and see what happens. No, that's not faith. Yeah. Faith is a two-part word, right? You have to believe it, but you got to act on what you believe. Yeah, it ain't by itself. The Bible tells us, right? Faith without works is dead, sitting by itself, right? Right? So you have to, as a child of the King, you can't just sit there. You got to sit up, get up and do something. Faith and action, faith and works go hand in hand. I believe it, so I'm going to do this because I believe it. And I know a lot of time some of you folks fail to move because you're drowned by your past failures, your past hurts, or low self-esteem. Matter of fact, some of y'all got such low self-esteem. I seen it too in action that you'll say, "You know what, you're single, but you're not going to approach another single person that look like that because they ain't going to like me." Why aren't they going to like you? Because they don't seem like the type of like who I am. You see what you just did there? Yeah, I'm not going to approach that one right there because they're going to say, "Get out of my face," right? You see what you did right there? Yeah, that you allowing what other folks say and what you say to go hand in hand on what you believe, instead of saying, "Man, I ain't trusting in none of that. Let me step out on faith and see what God says." Yeah, E-Top members will tell you, when I pray, I don't care what the doctor says. I don't care what nobody else says. I don't care what your boss said. Hey, Bishop, my boss said they letting 10 people go, and it ain't but 11 of us at work. You know what my response is? Okay, well, let's see what God says. My response ain't, "Oh my goodness, oh man, I feel sorry for you. Hey, find you another job. You'll find one." Wait, hold up. It's 11 of us, 10 gonna go. Why can't that one be you? We're gonna see what God said. That's the whole mantra of a child of God, in your belief and trust in who He is and what He can do. You're like, "Well, hey, looks like it's going to be one of me because I came in the middle." I'm like, people got higher seniority. Okay, if He going to go by seniority, then you already know who's gone. Right? That ain't what you said. You said He just say, out the blue, we going to keep the best employee. Well, you know if that's you or not. Don't come praying to Bishop. Can you pray? What's going on? Yeah, they going to let 5 of us go, and they going to keep the other 5. It's 10 of us, and they said it's going to let the 5 worst attendance employees go. We at the worst attendance. You know if you in that number or not. Yeah, calling in when you really ain't sick. You like, "Woo, I don't feel like working today." And you just call out sick, right? Woo. Be out on the beach. Be out at the movies. Be out at a party, golfing, bowling with your friends, right? But you called out sick. You don't feel like going to work, but you sure didn't feel like just staying at home. You doing other stuff. I know not you. I'm talking about them. I got, but don't. You got bad attendance. Don't come and ask Bishop to pray against what God is saying I'm gonna make happen. I can't go against what He's already purposed, right? And some of you know that, and you still be trying to get over. You know what, God, I got bad attendance, but can I be one of the ones in the good attendance list? Come on, Saint. Come on, let's be real, right? But here's the deal. When you trust God, you have to act upon who you trust. This is the difference if you trying to trust me or trust another human being, right? Hey, we'll slip up and let you down. We'll say stuff, and even though we meant what we said, sometimes we can't fulfill what we said we were going to fulfill. Why? Because of circumstances that come. I could say, "You know what? Hey, don't worry about it. I'm going to come pick you up at 2100. And you can ride with me to work." 1100 really. But you can ride with me to work, right? I'm headed that way. Give me a little bit. And all of a sudden, we gonna be on time? Yeah, we're gonna be on time, man. I'm always on time. And then car get on flat. And then I change the tire. Then realize, oh, the other side was on flat. I don't have an extra spare tire. And that's the only vehicle I got. Then I got to call you and say, hey, man, can you maybe find an Uber or something? Wait, what happened? You said you were going. I know what I said. But circumstances in our lives happen, right? Isn't that what y'all say? Life happens, right? It happens. Now, I meant what I said. I'm going to be there on time and right. But you know what we fail to do sometimes? Hey, I'll be there on time, Lord's will. Come on, somebody. Everything, you got to know the Lord's will. If it's the Lord's will, this is what I'm going to do. If it's Lord's will, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to receive. I'm going to make happen, whatever. Right? A lot of times we forget to say that, right? Because we don't realize and come to grips with life happening. Life can happen. Your car was fine when you got out of it last night, but this morning, yeah, God allowed an ant to bite it and put the air on tire for whatever reason and purpose. It could have been because you didn't say Lord's will when you say you're going to make something happen the next morning on time. So we got to understand, right? Because a lot of time we'll allow fear, our past hurts, our past pain, our past relationships to dictate what we're going to do in the future. Now, sometimes it's a good thing, right? If somebody dog you in the past, you learn from it, right? Now, you ain't going to allow a future Negro to dog you, right? That's a different whole ordeal, right? But what some of y'all do is you treat the new Negro like the old Negro treated you. Instead of learning from it, you like, I'm going to bring that on and I'm going to dog the other one out like I was dogged. No, that's wrong. And that's why you in the situation yourself, right? The brother like, man, I ain't do nothing. It's something wrong with my girl. I wine and dine her. I buy everything. And she still treat me like a dog. You know what? Because she's still thinking about the dog that dogged her. No, those past hurts and failures, you can't let them dictate your future. Learn from them, but don't dwell in it. Because some of you dwelling in it, and that's why you just sitting there. I ain't doing nothing. Yeah, that's why you still single, right? So some people allow, I only graduated 12th grade, or I only have my GED, I didn't graduate. So what does that mean? Well, I can only, who says that? You allowing your past failures and your past accomplishment or lack thereof to dictate what you're going to do going forward. Come on, saints, we got to stop that nonsense. We are better than that. Why? Because of the Christ who lives within us. We trust God and he controls everything. God can do anything but fail, right? You're like, no, he can. You say he can do everything? Can he fail? No, well, okay, well, he can't do anything, right? Yeah, so we got to remember that. God can't do anything. There's a couple of things I know he can't do. Number one, he can't fail. Number two, he can't lie. Come on, somebody. So when we say God can do anything, yeah, just remember, not necessarily. Because he can't fail and he can't lie. And because if you come to grips with that God can't fail and can't lie, you got to trust him wholeheartedly. You know what? I don't care what I was just told. I'm going to see what God says about it. I don't care how it look like, but I'm going to see what God says about it. I don't care how I feel, how my body feel. I don't care what aches I have. I'm going to see what God says about it. Why? Because I'm not just going to sit here. I'm going to do something. I'm going to get up and I'm going to make my way to wherever I need to go. Why? Because I'm trusting in God. I know folk going to look at me like, why you moving? I'm going to say, I'm moving because when I move, he moves. Just like that. Here it is. Fear is powerful, right? Fear is a powerful force. And we got to understand that fear have folk not even moving, want to move. I'm scared. What's wrong with you? I'm scared. Shoot. Last time, that's what we do. See, the last time that happened, well, are you trusting God? Maybe you didn't trust God last time. Trust him this time. Last time I tried to do this is what happened. I got you. But trust God, right? Because there are some people right now, you can't even get a promotion because of fear. Why? Because you applied 3 times before and they said no, no, and no. And now you're like, what's the use of applying? Because you trust God. You ain't trusting in the person who's going to make the decision. Because at E-Top, y'all know, my whole philosophy when it comes to other folk making decisions, they don't make them. God allowed them to make this one or that one. It ain't even up to them, because a lot of times God make them hire you. God make them approve of you. Because, how do you know, Bishop? Thanks for asking. Because I love when the folks say, you know what? I got somebody better qualified, but something's telling me to give you this position. Well, I already know who that something is. That's the person making the decision that's struggling with, I don't know why I'm doing this. But we know, right? Yeah, when you go get that, and you got a 242.5 credit score, and all of a sudden they say, you know what? I usually don't do this, but what I'm going to do, we got a special program for those with atrocious credit, minus 85,000. That's you. And I'm just going to give you this loan because something telling me you got a good job, you know, good family. Just something telling me that you going to pay this loan back. Yeah, I'm looking at your credit. You didn't pay nobody in the past 10 years. But for some reason, we know who that is, right? That person that's making the decision is struggling with, why am I doing this? That's why you don't worry about what it looks like. You don't worry about what it feels like, what it seems. All you do is say, you know what? Let's see what God says. I'm going to trust God and put it in his hand, and then I'm going to act out. I'm still going to apply. So what? I got a GED, and they looking for a bachelor's. Let's see what God says about it. So what? My credit score ain't high enough, and they say minimum credit score of this. I'm still going to apply for the high. Let's see what God says about it, because if I make a move, God going to make a move just like that. Stop letting your past dictate your future. So what? You failed in the past. That don't mean you're going to keep failing. Because let me help somebody. I preached a sermon before, right? There's a future after failure. Some of y'all let your past failures dictate what you're trying to do in the future, and you shouldn't, and the devil clapping while y'all failing yourself. It's like looking in the mirror and you're like, shoot, I look good. And then you're like, well, no, that ain't what so-and-so said. Why, saints? Don't worry about what other folks say. Let me get through with this sermon. Y'all gonna really make me mad thinking about this. Here it is. I like these lepers, right? Because they had every reason to fear. Look at their situation. They were outcasts. They were marginalized. The society had put them to the side and cast them. So they sitting at the gate, just sitting there like, man, this is terrible. Ain't nobody worried about them. They walk past them. They turn their head. They probably had their hands out. They just turn their head, walk by them. Yo, come on now. Y'all know y'all done it before, right? You see folks, you look at them, you like, man, you stronger than me. Go get a job. And you just drive right past them. They start coming to the car. You turn your head and just keep going. And anybody? This y'all hand? Come on. So these folk had every reason to be like, you know what? Let's just sit here and die, man. Maybe they see us about to die, then they'll help us out. No, them folk decided that, you know what? So what we feel like this? So what our bodies are racked with pain? So what? Ain't nobody trying to help us. Are we just going to sit here, or are we going to get up and do something? Huh? And they decided that, no, they are not just going to stand by or sit by and do nothing. They said, listen here, if we stay here, we're going to die. I like the philosophy, right? But if we go to the enemy's camp, there's a possibility we die too. But what if they just make us work and we live? But at least we'll get food. At least we'll be provided food, because we can't work when we're hungry. We don't have strength. So let's go to the enemy's camp. So who decided that, right? No, that's your faith talking right there. You know what? If I don't apply, I can't get approved. So let's see what God says, right? Yeah, so what? The credit score ain't where it is. So what? My last relationship, my past 3 relationships failed. So does that mean I'm going to stop? Trusting God that I'm going to find the right person to have a long life with? No. Your mindset should be, let's see what God say. I'm not just going to sit here. I'm going to get up and do something. I'm going to go. I'm going to move. I'm going to make a move. I'm not just going to stand here and just fold my arms and just do nothing. I'm going to get up and do something. Why? Because I trust in the God I serve. And a lot of us carry baggage from the past, right? That cause us to not want to do something. Because baggage, it can be heavy. It can be worrisome. Right? All the stuff in the past that haunts us. And some of them still sting, right? But there's some stuff people have told you, you still talk about it. Yeah, my last relationship, he talked me out. Well, I'm not the same person that I was now. Well, you shouldn't be. Right? You should be better. Because that's why you went through it, so you can learn from that, right? You can learn from the dog mentality that happened in your last relationship. It don't mean you start dogging folk, right? That's where you go wrong. And everybody got baggage, right? But sometimes the baggage that you bring over can be lighter than when you were carrying it years ago. But we sometimes are our own worst baggage. We talk to ourselves. Usually you tell yourself positive things, but I know some of y'all been talking down on yourself, looking in the mirror saying, oh, my nose too big. Oh, my lips too big. Oh, my hair too gray. And man, I need to dye my hair. Oh, no, man, look at my eye. Oh, my ear. Oh, my skin. You know why you say that? Because of what other folks say. Girl, look at your skin. Girl, you better put some so-and-so lotion on it. You know what? We got some oatmeal brand lotion with some raisins in it. Girl, it'd be good for your skin. So now we think our skin messed up, right? So now your self-esteem gone. Every time you leave out, I can't leave because I need get some more oatmeal raisin. You carry it on all through the years. And ain't nobody said nothing but that one person who said your skin needs some oatmeal raisin. Now you going with it. All you do is talk to God. God is the one who created you. Right? All these other folks that say, here's what you need to do with your body and turn this and all this other stuff, right? God is the one that created you. Who knows you better than the creator? Come on, somebody. It hurts me when I see folk down in themselves because of what somebody else said. No, you are God's child. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. He created you. So what? It was a sperm and then went to this and went over to the egg and all that stuff. Yeah, God orchestrated that. Yeah, in the beginning. When he say, hey, this Adam, I want y'all to be fruitful and multiply. Replenish the earth. God orchestrated that. There wasn't no man that's like, you know what? I think the man have this semen that comes out. No! It's God orchestrated. So who knows you better than the orchestrator, the architect? He created us. Stop listening to what folks say that's holding you back and say, God, I'm trusting in you. I ain't worrying about what. It's all right when folks encourage you, right? Yeah, but when they start doing the opposite of encouragement, then you need to stop listening to them. Well, they listen to me on the good part. I guess I can listen to them on the bad part. No. Stop listening to folks who try to demean you and down you and have you have low self-esteem. No, you need to listen to God. And God will put folks in your circle who going to be an encourager and not a downer. I like this lepers, the way they act and they move towards the enemy camp. And watch this. They were hoping that when they move up towards the enemy camp, the best hope is we just going to hope and pray and see what they do. Hopefully they let us work and then they'll feed us, right? But what they didn't do was just sit there and do nothing. They got up and say, let's see what happened. Let's see what God says. There it is. So they went to the enemy's camp. And what did they find? They didn't find out that they were going to be living and surviving. But the Bible says they found abundance. Y'all can read that later, but the Bible said that they found abundance. The enemy had departed. Why? Because God, That's why you have to say, let's see what God said. God said, you know what? Make some noise. I want it to sound like chariots and billion people. And then the enemy heard what they thought was a lot of people and a lot of chariots and a big army coming their way. Then they left. They like, that's too many. And they departed. God caused it. So when you say, let's see what God says, and you make a move, that's the type of stuff God can do, right? Because he's all powerful. It wasn't no big army. It just sounded like a big army, right? Because God can make stuff sound like it is when it ain't. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. God can make stuff look like it is when it ain't. God can make stuff happen like it should when it doesn't. Listen here. They thought it was a big army and they said, let's go. And the folk that acted upon faith, these lepers, they not only was blessed with not being killed or with their lives, but they were blessed with an abundance of multiplicity. You read about it. They went into the camp and it not only changed their faith, but it changed the faith of families. So what does that mean, Bishop? Glad you asked. See, when you move and then you allow God to move because of your faith and your action, it not only blesses you, but it blesses those around you, right? It blesses those within your circle, right? Because when you are blessed, it ain't just for you. It's for folk like you. It was folk around you. It's for folk in your circle. It was folk in your household. When you make a move, it's going to bless everybody. And you notice that if you read this text, it says that after God did what he did and the folk left, that they got silver and gold and houses and land. And I mean, it was so much that it was just overwhelming that they were like, you know what? This is a blessing. This is amazing. But we can't keep it to ourselves. Y'all see that, right? Yeah, there's so much stuff. We got to go back and tell family members. We got to go back and tell our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our nephews. Hey, man, y'all got to look what God did. Watch this. But none of that would have happened if they just sat there and folded their arms at the gate. None of that would have happened if they decided to live on the past hurts and past mistakes and past situations and past experiences and their current condition. None of that would have happened if they just said, you know what? God must have put us here to die. No, he didn't. He allows us to be in certain situations to see if you're going to make a move. He allows, when the devil comes to him and say, hey, they only serving you because you always take care of them. And if you let me do this, they're going to cuss you. God said, no, they're not. Yeah, if you let me do that, God said, no, they're not. They don't serve me just for that. They love me. Well, can you allow me? And God said, go ahead. Go ahead. Allow them to miss 2 rents. Allow them to be laid off. They're going to still trust me. Because once I allow you to lay them off, I'm going to bless them with a better job. And they know that, and they're going to stand on that. Y'all, come on, y'all. This is what it's all about. Our faith walk is about action. It's about taking action no matter what it looks like. Because I know sometimes I've been there. Y'all, for those, y'all remember my counsel, right? Yep. It was scary. I mean, literally, cancer it messed with my mind. Until God said, Bishop, I got you. And once he said that, it was like, psst, whatever you decide to do, let's see what God says, right? Whatever you decide to do, Lord, I trust you. So nobody knew that I had cancer when I had cancer for what, 9 months? Why? Because I lived like God had already taken care of it because I trusted that he would. Come on, y'all. When you get into those situations, those dire straits, your mindset and your verbiage needs to be like Bishop. What is that, Bishop? Well, I ain't going to care what it look like, what it sounds like. I'm going to see what God says as I step out on faith. Yeah, because here's the deal. I never lose. I know that sounds strange, right? I never lose. I either win or I learn. And that needs to be your mantra going forward. You don't never lose. Like, man, I asked God for this, but I said, if not my will, your will be done. There it is. So if I don't get it, his will be done. If I get it, his will be done. Right? If it's delayed, his will be done. Even if it's denied, his will be done. Because I put it on him. I requested it, but I put it on him. Why? Because I don't see what he sees. I don't know what he knows. The house that I really wanted, I didn't get. Why? Because it wasn't his will. And I asked his will. We was getting ready to build this big house and a brand new up and all this right in a certain area, but it was his will, right? And all of a sudden things start to happen this way, not work out right, and then it just fell through. I wasn't mad. We wasn't mad because you know right after that, watch this, God allowed First Lady to turn down a wrong street, right. I'm in DeSoto looking for a house, and she turning down wrong street, so, right. And then say, oh, baby, you need to come up here. I think I found the house, right? It wasn't no accident. It was God's providence. Why? Because God said, I'm going to see if you're going to trust me even when I let this fall through. Yeah, and for those of you who know where we live now, right? It ain't it's probably better. I ain't gonna say probably. It's better than what we tried to build. Why? Because we said, not my will, but your will be done. Let's see what God says. And I'm gonna end it like this, because when they chose to act, it was a faith walk. They didn't know what was gonna happen on the other side. But they say, let's see what God says. Right? So let's be bold just like these lepers. Let's be bold and take action today. Let's stop allowing fear to prevent us from moving forward. Whatever fears or past experiences that you have that's keeping you from moving forward, you need to say, you know what? Not today, Satan. Not today. Matter of fact, not going forward. From this day forward, Satan, I'm going to take action. And I'm just going to put it in God's hand. And I'm going to see what God says. And these lepers teach us that same thing, that it's better to take a risk than to remain in the same place stagnant and doing nothing out of fear, right? So take this and be bold, right? Be bold like the lepers. And allow the other folks around you to be bold. How do you do that, Bishop? Glad you asked. Whenever you see them just stagnant, whenever you see them not moving, you need to say, hold up. Don't just sit there. Do something. That God will continue to bless and keep you is my prayer. Hey, don't forget them seed, tithes, and offering. Yeah, I'm looking to invite all of you to the new sanctuary that God is about to build right there in the heart of Fort Worth. Until next time, don't just sit there. Do something.